Nothing happening? All right, cool. Can't believe this. Eddie, the photographer, is going to give us time of the day.
Hello, my name is Eddie Duacaba. I've been here since February at Homeboy as your photographer. A little nervous, I'm sorry, but it's a very special place for me to be at. It's such an honor. I didn't really know what to say, but I always say one thing when Abraham likes bringing his tour up to me. He asked me, tell us about your story and where you've been, how you became a photographer and stuff like that. So growing up in Boyle Heights here, this is what I tell our tour. I grew up here where, the Lord's Mission is at, where Father Gray founded Homeboy Industries in 1988. And the things that I've seen, like all of us, what we see affects us growing up. So first grade elementary school, playing kickball during one of the breaks, that we see a homie get jumped, and eventually he dies. I was just a kid when we saw that. A little bit later, somebody else down the street, first drive-by victim. I was about 14 years old. Get there before the paramedics. There's a guy down with a pool of blood around his head. I was 14 years old and looking at the future then, I was thinking, I wasn't going to see the year 2000. Because I would think about the future and think, what is that going to be like? Looking at the Jetsons cartoons where they're flying cars around. I didn't think I would live to see that. But, by the grace of God, I got into high school, and then the sports took me away from the streets. And eventually I graduated, but once I got out of high school, I got back into the streets where the party scene was at, though. And I just wanted to party. I didn't ever want to party today. I love hanging out with friends. I wanted to drink. But one thing led to another. I got stuck on drugs. Was a little bit of weed, a little bit of coke, and crack cocaine. And today I'm 16 years sober.
That's right.
Thank God. During those 90s, during the decade of death from 1988 to 1998, there were over nearly 1,000 gang-related murders in the county of Los Angeles alone. Seeing everybody dropping around me like flies was like, for sure, I didn't think I was going to live to see that year still. And by me self-destructing at the time, I was fulfilling my own prophecy of not seeing that year 2000. I was self-destructing. But I guess that's probably a direct result of how what I saw growing up and what I was seeing around me. Just all this destruction and death. And your friends, you stop caring, you become numb. So, after the third funeral, it's like you can't even cry anymore. And I was a functional addict. I got to work, and again, by the grace of God, I never got tested. Otherwise, I would have been fired and then out of the street, who knows where. But eventually, the straw that broke the camel's back happened in that year 2000, and I became sober. And I had, like what Father Greg talks about, like that awakening moment. I woke up, and I realized I was doing all these bad things to my family. I stole from my mom, my little brother, rest in peace, my sisters, and it hurt. It hurt. But, thank God for that time I woke up. I woke up, and now I realized I have to do something with my life. And within a year and a half, 2 years after that, I joined the Marine Corps. I went and I fought in Afghanistan for our country. And we were very blessed at the time that we were there. We only had 2 rocket attacks. Like I tell everybody, I came back and I was like, that was it. I seen more combat here in my own backyard, And I go back to school. I learned all the digital photography at the time, 2007. And that, basically, I'm here now. And I feel very strongly that this is exactly what God made me for. I'm here as a way to change the things that I saw growing up. Anywhere I've ever gone around the world, I've always had that question when you meet new people, it's where you from? Because where we're from is part of our identity. And as a photographer, that's a big tool for me as a photographer, the way I can change that view that people have. You know, when I tell people where I'm from, I say, Boyle Heights, they say, where's that? I say, East Los Angeles. And they're like, oh, like born in East LA? Yeah, exactly, that's where I was born. Oh, so which one are you? The gangbanger, the dope dealer, the drug addict? All of the stereotypes come up, and it's like, no, man, there's more than that to that place. There's more, and like I'm saying as a photographer, I realize now that I have the power to change that with my photography and the internet, and you know, I used to get mad about people saying those things, but I realized that it's not their fault, because the only thing they see in the movies, the only thing that the news puts out there, it's negativity. Negativity sells. So, as a photographer now, I have the power to change that. And being here at Homeboy, I can tell a different story. I can tell a story of resiliency, a story of the comeback of the year, the decade, the century. And I look at Abraham and I think, man, you know, that guy's coming from a farther hole in the ground than I was. You know, he had a gun in his face, and the gun didn't fire. They tried to run him over a couple times. And he's alive. He's a walking miracle, just like everybody else here is. I see nothing but walking miracles in front of me. You know, God created the sun, created the stars, created the galaxy, but you know what his greatest creation is? It's you. Every one of you here. You're just amazing people to me. You inspire the hell out of me. You make me try harder. And I thank God for allowing me to be here today. God bless Homeboys.